Okay, we're going to do a quick tutorial on making a Hot Lips Gurgler. A Hot Lips Gurgler is a gurgler that has a bottom lip and a top lip, unlike a normal gurgler that just has a top lip. These really make a great popping sound in the water. Whereas the normal gurgler just makes a little bit of a blip blip, these produce a rather loud chugging popping sound. And they're very easy to tie. It only takes a few minutes. First off, the foam that we make them out of, if you go to Hobby Lobby and you buy the sheet foam, too thin. It's just like a little 2mm foam. It's not thick enough to be able to have the rigidity you need for this gurgler to work very well. And so what I do is I go to Hobby Lobby, and on the same aisle where they have the sheet foam, they have some foam novelties. And you'll see things like these foam visors, and they're made out of a foam that's closer to 4mm. And then they have these foam baseball pennants. Those visors come in like a whole bunch of different colors. These foam baseball pennants, they make them in black. This gives you a nice big flat sheet of foam. It's great for your supply for black. I wish they made these in more colors actually, because it's kind of the best deal. So anyway, I pick up some of those. These little foam visors come assembled like this. They're 99 cents each. Just pop the string off and pop off these little extra round supports. Are just kind of on there with a little adhesive. They come right off. And so now you have a pretty good bit of foam. You can make a lot of gurglers out of these. For 99 cents, it's not a bad deal to get the thickness you need to make a really good gurgler. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a piece of foam, I guess roughly a 1/2 inch wide, give or take a little bit. Okay. Actually, it's probably a little bit wider than I need. I'll trim it down some. And I'm not being super anal about cutting these perfectly straight. If you want to, you can lay down a straight edge and use an X-Acto or a razor and get you some super straight lines on the edge. Honestly, I don't think it's really all that important. Okay, so I get a piece about like this. I'm going to get a hook in the vise here. I'm using a long shank hook. This is a Mustad 34011 2X length. Not the greatest quality hook in the world, but it'll do. You can use any kind of long shank hook that you like, whatever your preferences are. This is what I have on hand, so it's what I'm using. Okay, I'm going to get it on the vise. I'm going to take my foam and I'm going to measure it. I'm going to have it in front of the hook a bit so that I can have enough for a front lip. And then fold this over. And yeah, that's about right. Okay, so starting with a spot that's just behind where the eye of the hook's going to be, I notch into the foam a little bit and I cut away a little bit of foam. And then I do the same thing on the opposite side, because I'm going to be wrapping this foam, compressing this foam against the shank of the hook with thread wraps. You can see this. I don't have 2 layers of foam here, just one. I prefer them like this. If you have the double layer of foam, it's a little more buoyant. Like this, it sits slightly lower the surface film, and I find you get a better chugging noise or a better pop out of that. Okay, so I'm going to finish trimming this down a little bit. It's not that important to be totally exacting with it. Okay, so I got that trimmed. Take my thread, make some thread wraps. And you tie in the tail. You can use whatever you like for tail. You can use fur. I'm going to use marabou. It's simple and easy and moves nice. So I'm tying the marabou in. And then I'm actually going to post the marabou up a little bit, just because it'll help keep it from fouling the hook so much. It's something I do on toad flies and some other redfish patterns that I tie. So I take it and I just post that tail up like that. Once the foam's on it, it's going to look just fine, but by posting it up like that, it's a lot less likely to wrap around that hook and foul. If it's just sticking straight back, it's going to foul quite a bit because that marabou moves so much. Okay, so I'm going to advance my thread up back to the front of the hook. I'm going to take my piece of foam and at about the spot that's going to be the base of where I want that bottom lip to start, I'm going to punch a hole in the foam. I'm just going to grab a hook here and use that. Punch a little hole in it. Okay, see I have a hole? I'm going to take that hole and poke the eye of my hook through it. Okay? Now before I do anything, I'm going to run a bead of my adhesive on the hook. You can use super glue, you can use head cement. I'm just using some Sally's Hard as Nails. It works well and I have it on hand. Okay, so I get that hook kind of coated with adhesive. Pull this back. I'm going to start making some thread wraps here. And you're going to have to, that foam bottom lip's going to want to turn. You'll have to grab it and turn it back into place. So I'll make some wraps like this. And then I'll actually come forward and make a couple of wraps come around the eye of the hook, around the hook itself. Because it's going to kind of help lock in that lip. Okay. So now what I'm doing is I'm making wraps. As you can see, I'm compressing this foam down against the hook shank as I work my way back. My fingers picked up some black from that marabou. That dye kind of ran a little bit, and it's turning my foam a little black. No big deal. I'm just trying to keep it off the main foam. Okay. So I get back to where I'm just coming over where my tail's tied in. See? Okay. Then I'm going to take some chenille, and you can mix and match your chenille colors, whatever appeals to you. In fact, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie in this as the body. A little bit more tail. Advance the thread. So I'm going to stop this chenille right here. And then come back. And I'm just going to make a turn or two of red to give it a little red throat. And then, I'll come forward like this and make a couple more wraps like this to help lock it in place. Okay, now I'll simply take this top piece of foam, lay it forward, make a couple of semi-loose thread wraps around it just to catch it, then hold the whole thing together and tighten the thread. Straightening things out as I go. Make some tighter wraps. Okay. I'll hit a drop of my cement here. I just like to take some of my cement, apply it to my thread, and then whip finish. Okay, so there it is. I'm going to trim these lips a little bit. I think they're still a little bit big. So I'm going to trim these back a little bit. And I've got a very fishable Hot Lips Gurgler. That's it.